So now the girl again asks him, "Do you want to buy it?" The man again replies, "No." "Well, if you don't want to buy the house, what are you looking at?" See, she's asking with a doubt because she don't understand. Suddenly, some stranger is coming to her house and looking up at the house. And when she asked if she wants to buy it, if he's interested in buying the house, and is that is the reason why he's looking at it, the man says no. So the man says, "I used to live here 25 years ago as a man, as a young man. And then my grandmother died, and we sold the house and went away." So we earlier decided that in the start of the story, we had decided that the man must be about 60 years old and he had lived in this house when he was, 10 years old. And so the house is almost more than 50 years old for sure. But now we can see that the man is telling us, old man is telling that he lived here 25 years ago as a young man. So he used to be living here as a child also until he was in his youth. Till he was a man, he was living here only. When did he move? After his grandmother died. So, apart from this short story, we can see that Ruskin Bond has written many stories related to his grandmother and his grandmother's house. He used to have a very friendly relationship with his grandmother and grandfather, and their house, the animals in the house, the pets in the house, the trees in the house, the mango tree. He has written stories about everything, and the stream next to the house where he used to go for swimming. So many small stories are written about his grandmother. One famous story is Granny's tree climbing, which Ruskin Bond has written about his own grandmother. There's many short stories within that and poems also within that. And Grandma Climbs the Tree. So he, according to Ruskin Bond, his grandmother was very active and very playful and very cheerful lady, who, if you can read this sentence, you would know that Ruskin Bond is telling in this story that Grandma Climbs a Tree, he's telling that even when his grandmother was 62, she would climb the tree house that they had made in their house. And so there's a very nice relationship that Ruskin Bond had shared with his grandparents, and he used to live with his grandparents over the summer holidays or over the vacation or for some years in between, just like how we also go to visit our grandparents. I hope you do. If you don't, take time in your life to spend time with your grandparents for sure. So coming back to the story, the old man is again telling us, how they all sold the house and he went away after his grandmother died and he's never come back to the house again. So the girl now confirms, "Oh, and you would like to buy it back now, but you don't have the money." So the girl is curious and she asks, "Why you have returned because this is your house and you wanted to buy it back?" And the only conclusion that she can get when somebody does not get something that they want is because they don't have the money for it. Maybe she went to a shop and she wanted to buy a favorite toy and she didn't have the money, enough pocket money to buy the toy. And that is when she realized that when you don't have money, you can't buy things. So maybe that is why she made this judgment. But the man replies, "No, I wasn't thinking of buying it back. Wanted to see it again, that's all." "How long have you lived in it?" the man asked the girl now. She says, "Only 3 years." And then she again asked him, "Would you like to come in and look more closely?" So till now, the man is standing outside the fence, and she is inside the fence, inside the house property, and they're actually talking from across the boundary gate wall, the fence. They're talking across the fence, and this man has not even come into the house. So she's inviting him. But the old man is doubtful. So he's asking, "Wouldn't your parents mind?" "They have gone to the club. They won't mind. I am allowed to bring my friends home." So the girl is very excited. She says, "No, it's okay. You can come in. You would just be like my friend and my friends are allowed. My parents says that my friends can come home." So this is like just like any other innocent girl, we also do. Doesn't matter if it is a stranger or if it is somebody. We usually what is the difference between children and people who have grown up? Little more. One important thing is that their innocence, and it is because of the innocence that they trust very easily. But the old man asked again, even elderly friends like me. Then she starts thinking, how old are you? And then the man says, oh, just middle aged, but feeling young today. So the old man makes a very, because the girl asked him his age and he didn't wanted to say exactly how old he is, he considers himself young. That's why he says, just middle aged. You think whatever is middle age for you, but I'm feeling very young today and I'll show you how. And to prove it, he decided he would climb over the wall instead of going round to the gate. He got up on the wall all right, but had to rest there. So the old man says that he is feeling young today. And to prove it, he decided he would climb over the wall instead of going round to the gate. He got up on the wall all right, but had to rest there, breathing heavily. So the old man is trying to climb up the wall. It's a brick wall, and then he climbs up, but then he can't jump down because he's already tired and breathing heavily. So he's telling to himself, yes, a middle aged man on the flying trapeze. So he feels like he's on a trapeze. So a trapeze is an instrument used in mostly by people, acrobats in circus, where it's a bar, it's a horizontal bar hung by two strings, and you do all sorts of acrobatics or exercises in the trapeze. So the old man is telling that when he was sitting on the wall after climbing up, it was so difficult for him that it felt like that he boasted when he saw the young girl. He was like, oh, take such a little girl. Maybe he thought he would call out the inner child in him. He felt like, he didn't feel that old. He considered himself like, oh, I'm back to being that small man, and I'm still active, I'm very healthy, I'll do it. But he couldn't. Or he got tired after climbing up. So once he climbed up, then the girl said, I'll help you. And she helped him. She gave a hand to him and helped him climb over to the same side of the house. And now they're both inside the house. He slithered down into a flower bed, shattering the stem of a hollyhock. So the fence was lined with those hollyhock flowers. So, with the help of the girl, the old man came down, and then his foot got pressed to one of the flowers, and the flowers got damaged. As they walked across the grass, he spotted a stone bench under a mango tree. It was the bench on which his grandmother used to rest when she was tired of pruning rose bushes and bougainvillea. So from this, he's again recalling his memories of his time, of his childhood days, which he used to spend in this house. He remembered the mango tree. He remembered the wooden bench under the mango tree where his grandmother used to sit. And here we can also learn that his grandmother used to love gardening. She used to prune rose bushes and bougainvillea, which are both flowers very common in the mountainside gardens. So these are rose bushes, and bougainvillea is this a flower mostly pinkish in color, while rose bushes could be of different colors. He told the girl, let's just sit here. I don't want to go inside. They were silent for some time. The man closed his eyes and remembered other times. The music of a piano, the chiming of a grandfather clock, the constant pitter of budgeriggers on the veranda, his grandfather cranking up the old car. So slowly by slowly, memories are forming in his head. So he's sitting there silently with closed eyes, but even with the closed eyes, he could see. He's looking back into his memories. So he's seeing his memories now. You can see the piano. Grandfather clock is the biggest, the pendulum type long clock that you have in old homes. And budgeriggers are usually we call them by the common nickname lovebirds, which are common in as a pet bird. We cage them, like and he also remembered how his grandfather would be repairing old cars and always trying to work on it. So there are many memories that he is getting once he came and saw his house. Slowly he opened his eyes and looked at the jackfruit tree and told her, I used to climb the jackfruit tree. So he's recalling his childhood days when he used to climb the jackfruit tree. So the girl is amused and she says, do you want to climb it again? My parents won't mind. No, no, not after climbing the garden wall. Let us just sit here for a few minutes and talk. I mentioned the jackfruit tree because it was my favorite place. Do you see that thick branch stretching out over the roof? Halfway along it, there is a small hollow in which I used to keep some of my treasures. So when the girl hears that the jackfruit tree was his favorite place, she asks him if he wants to climb it again. But then the old man is already tired after climbing the wall. That was enough adventure for him, and he couldn't climb it again. Also, he didn't have any interest in going over it. He just wanted to remember the memories. So he's telling her, and he's sharing his phone memories with her. He's telling her that how there was this he had a secret treasure place on in the jackfruit tree, which was a hollow in the thick stem. So there's on one of the thickest branches there used to be a small hole in which he used to that nobody would easily notice, and he used to put many of his treasures inside. And he's explaining, telling us what type of treasures. She asked, what kind of treasures? Oh, nothing very valuable. Marbles I had won, a book I wasn't supposed to read, a few old coins I had collected. Things came and went. I was a bit of a crow, collecting bright things and putting them away. There was my grandfather's iron cross. Well, not my grandfather's exactly, because he was British and the Iron Cross was a German decoration awarded for bravery during the war, the First World War, when my grandfather fought in France. He got it from a German soldier. So here, the old man is sharing his early stories to the little girl, telling her that what all treasures, that what was many important things for him, that small interesting pieces that he used to collect and hide it away in his treasure box or the hollow in the jackfruit tree, as well as tell her about the iron cross. The iron cross was special to him because it was his grandfather's. And we learn one more thing about his grandfather in this paragraph, which is that he participated in the First World War and he fought in France. So small details we are getting about him. And so the Iron Cross is actually a medal. So you can see it is being awarded to a brave soldier. So it's a symbol of bravery. So after the war, during the First World War, the soldiers were awarded for each their act of bravery. The medal was given as a kind of congratulatory prize. The girl is curious. Do you still have it? No, I left it in the jackfruit tree. You left it in the tree? Yes, I was so excited at the time, packing and saying goodbye to people and thinking about the ship I was going to sail on, that I simply forgot all about it. So the old man tells her, yes, he was just a boy when he moved out of the house, right? Or he was a young man. And that time he was and they were going to travel in a ship when they moved from this house. And he was very fascinated. That must have been the first time he was traveling in a ship. So he was very excited about it, and that excitement he forgot half the things, in which included his treasures. This is very, very similar situation to us also, right? When we were small, there were many things very important to us. And there could have been things that we started to collect. It could be old refills, it could be any old bottle caps or paintings or stickers, which sort of seemed meaningless when we grew up, which was a token of our childhood. So just like that, or we were busy, it didn't mean that much to us later or important. So similar to him, he also left it there and he was more excited. He just went on to the next thing.